7th graders, our last day with solving unknown angles using equations. It's our last day. We say our goodbyes to it. But before we do, let's just spend about 10 more minutes on it, alright? Okay, so our aim remains the same. How do we solve for unknown angles in word problems and in diagrams? I got a typo here. Never saw anything involving all learned angle facts. Okay. We look at example 3. The measurement of an angle is 2/3 the measurement of its supplement. Find the measurement of the angle. Okay, well, there are some key words in here. I hope you notice the word supplement. And we should know right away when we think supplement, supplementary, we should think 180 degrees. Alright, so here's how I like to do these. I like to make these little guess and check tables. I'll make a little table here. I need 3 columns. So we'll call this the guess column. We'll call this the sum. And our sum should be whatever it's talking about, whether it's supplement or complement, or what we're talking about supplement here. So it should be 180 degrees, our answer. And then the middle column, we have to read the problem for. Well, we're trying to find the measurement of an angle is 2/3 the measurement. Well, we're dealing with a fraction of 2/3 of means to multiply, so we will multiply 2/3 by our guess. Now if you're sitting there thinking, what in the world are you talking about, Mr. Lovers? Well, let's take a guess of what we think the answer might be. So let's try 60 first. Okay, well, if I go into my second column here, it should be 2/3 of our guess. Well, our guess in this row is 60. And 2/3 of 60 is 40. Okay, so apparently if I add the guess and our 2/3 of the guess together, it should give us 180. So does 60 plus 40 give us what we want? Okay, that gives us 100, so we know the answer is not 60. I'll give you a couple seconds, maybe try it by yourself. I challenge you to pause the video now, see if you can guess another number to put in there. Okay, so I hope your guess has to be a tad bit larger than 60. So let's try 70 this time. 2/3 of 70 equals, looks like 46.6 repeating. Okay, so if I take my guess and the 2/3 of the guess and add them together, it's supposed to give us 180. So 70 plus 46.6 repeating. Well, we know right away that's not going to give us 180, but we are closer. 116. 6/10. Okay, well, I'm running out of space here, so let's see if I can get the right answer this time. Okay, well, let's just try 108. 2/3 times 108. That gives us 72. And then 108 plus 72. Now there's our 180. Forgot to mark that guy wrong. And this guy is correct. Right, let's say if you want to try it by a guess and check method. Alright, here's another method you can try. We could use tape diagrams. Well, we're dealing with 2/3. So when we make our tape diagram, we'll have two boxes on the top. We'll call that 2 units. It's a little sloppy there. Let me get rid of that. We'll just call that guy 2. And then we'll have this guy. We'll need 3 on the bottom. 2, 3. We'll call that 3 units. We know we want it to equal 180. So in order to find out what each box here is worth, we can actually take our 180 and divide it by how many units there are. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different units. So 180 divided by 5 would give us 36. So in theory, one of these boxes is worth 36. This guy's worth 36. This guy's 36. So each one of these boxes is worth 36. If you add them all up, it should give you again that 180. Okay, well, if I have 2 units, if I add these together, that gives us 72. And on the bottom here, with these 3 units, you add 36, 36, and 36 together, you get 108. There's 2 different methods for it. You can make a tape diagram, or you can use good old guess and check. If you pause the video, you should do that now because, yes, it's time to move on to the next example. But before we do that, I've decided to come up with a new strategy here. These problems obviously are not on your notes. So, if you can try to solve this guy right here, exercise 3, and then the exercise 4 following, later in the video, I'll give you a dojo point for tomorrow. So if you're looking for ways to improve your grade, this would be a good way to do it. You can put the answer to this on the front of your notes today. Okay? And make sure you show it to me tomorrow before class. Okay, so now we go to example 4. Okay, so it says 3 lines meet at the common vertex of array. We're going to list relevant angle relationships as always, and then we want to find Z. And again, make sure you look at the diagram. Z is not only this 90-degree angle, it's also that little chunk right there. But don't tell me Z equals 90. Alright, so this is now one of those 2-steppers. Let's see. What can we fill in? Are there any relevant vertical angles here? I see once a pair of vertical angles. I see this guy, and he is vertical to that angle, but that's not going to help us. Look at all these blanks here. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. If you notice, we could say that, well, both of those angles together would give us 90, because we see this right angle here. But that doesn't help us with this angle we're trying to find. So we're back to the drawing board. Vertical angles will not help us right now. You could say complementary. Well, I see complementary right here. Here's a right angle, and it's split. However, both angles inside, again, we do not know. If we want to use complementary, we had to know one of those angles. So complementary is not going to help us. If you're saying, hey, wait a second, Mr. Lovers, I see another complementary angle. Well, you're right. I see one here. But again, these are 2 angles, and we don't know what the measure of them are. So that doesn't help us. We need to know at least one of them. I hope you didn't say, Mr. Lovers, I see a complementary angle here. No, that's not complementary. That's just a right angle to To make it complementary, it needed to be split somehow. An extra ray. So it rules out vertical angles, it rules out complementary. So why don't we try supplementary? Alright, well, I see a straight line here. If I made a semicircle this way, too many blanks. We know this guy is 90, but we don't know that angle, we don't know that angle. That's not going to help us. Why don't we try making our semicircle on the opposite side? Let's see. Okay. Well, we know this chunk here is 29. We don't know what this angle is. But we do know what this angle is right here. That's that 90 degrees. So this is something we can deal with now. Let me erase all this stuff on the inside here. I'll keep my straight angle and my semicircle. And let's, well, straight angles we said are equal to 180. I'll make that a little bit clearer. That's sloppiness to lovers. 180 equals. Well, let's now start filling in the chunks on that semicircle. Well, we have the 29. That's this guy. Then we know what this chunk is. There's a right angle, so that right angle means this chunk here is 90. The only one we don't know is this guy, so we'll call him X since we don't know what it is. Well, this is old stuff. Put some shapes around, 29, 90, gives us 119, plus X equals 180. Well, to get rid of that one, well, we gotta get that X by itself, right? So we gotta get rid of the 119. Well, it's positive 119, so we will subtract 119 from both sides. Don't forget your line too. And that gives us X equals 61 degrees. Okay, once you find an angle measure, like I always say, make sure you throw it back in on your diagram. So we just found this angle here to be 61 degrees. Think you can tell me what Z is now? Well, Z was two different angles. It was this chunk, and we said that was 90 degrees. And now we know what this last little chunk is. It's 61. Now Z is going to equal 90 plus 61, and that gives us 151. That's it for today. If you want to try to get that extra dojo point, here's exercise 4. Again, if you want to get these correct, exercise 3, you might want to look at example 3 for help. Make sure you do it on that piece of paper on that front side. For exercise 4, you might want to look at example 4 for help. Get both of those right, show them to me tomorrow before class starts, and I shall give you a dojo point. It's the best way to get your grade up if you want to get your grade up.